2022. Welcome to today's craft session with Mrs. Bone and Mrs. Cherokee. Today, we're going to be making our school mascot, Coco the Cockatoo.
Now, boys and girls, you need to make sure there's our Coco that we're going to be making today. It's so cute. You need to make sure that today you've got your, and I'm just going to bring them here so you can see them, your white head, and that's made out of cardboard, and your white tail. You also need, there's two pieces here of your yellow card. That's going to be your beak. You're going to need your paper plate. You're going to need all of your white feathers, your yellow feathers, and some glue. And don't forget scissors. So you need all of those things before we get started.
You'll also need a black marker, boys and girls, just to add a final detail onto your Coco the Cockatoo at the end.
Nearly forgot that very important part. All right, so boys and girls, we're going to start with our paper plate. So if you can get your paper plate, that would be good. And then once you've got your paper plate, we're going to fold it in half. And we're just going to put a little pinch there in the middle and a little pinch down here and a pinch up the top, because then when we open it up, you can see a line, and that's going to be the line that we're going to cut through the paper plate so it becomes two pieces, not one. So you're going to get it, maybe if I cut it that way, you'll be able to see. And we just snip.
We're cutting the paper plate into two pieces in half.
And it can be a little bit tricky on one side, so just be careful. You might need mum and dad's help for that, but I think you're all very grown up and able to do that yourself. So now instead of having one whole plate, you've got two pieces. And these two pieces are going to be your body and your wings of your Coco. So once you've got that, you're going to get the two curved halves. You've got one curve and two curves, and what you're going to do is you're going to put one curve facing to the left, that's this way, and then you're going to get the other curve, and that's going to face to the left as well. Now it may not look like that, but I'm going to show you. So it's going to look like that, and then you're going to put it like so, and you've got instructions, so if you need a little bit of help, look at your paper instructions. We've got some instructions in front of us as well, just to help us. Once you've done that, you've got your Coco body. So once you've done that, you're going to get your glue stick, boys and girls. You get your, now if you've got some PVA or some craft glue at home, it may work a little bit better. Today we're just going to use a glue stick, but if you've got other glue at home, you can use that as well if you'd like. So you're going to get your two halves, and Mrs. Cherokee's going to just use it here on the table. And I'm just going to put the glue on really hard, quite a bit, not so it's so thick that you can't glue it down. So I've got lots of glue, you can't see it, but there's lots of glue here. Then I'm going to get my other half and I'm going to stick it so the 2 points at the top are together, like so. And then I'm going to squeeze down. I'm squeezing along the back, and it may not look like it glues straight away, but if you put your hands down on it, let's say, let's count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look, they're glued together. Okay, and that's our body part.
And like Mrs. Cherokee said, you've got an instruction sheet in your pack as well, and there's a photo of what that part looks like there to help you as well.
All right.
All right, on to the next step. So in your packs, you would have a piece of white card in a circle shape that you need to cut out, and also it almost looks like an upside down ice block. If I turn it around that way, it looks like an ice block, and that is going to be your tail of the cockatoo. So you will need to cut those pieces out. So Mrs. Cherokee and Mrs. Bone cut those out before we started to make this video, but you will need to cut those out using your scissors. So the circle piece is going to be our Coco Cockatoo's head, and the upside down ice block looking piece of paper here, that's going to be our Coco's tail. So let's have a go at gluing those onto our Coco body that Mrs. Cherokee just made. So we've got our body here, and now what we're going to do is we're going to be gluing our head on the top of the body. So it's going to be going just directly on top there. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. And again, there's lots of photos on the instruction sheet to help you. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to put some glue using the glue stick on the bottom of my head, because that's the part that's going to be glued onto the body. Okay, I don't need to put glue all over the circle because the whole circle's not going to be getting glued down. So I'm putting it on the bottom part. Let's have a go.
You could also, if you wanted to, put some glue on the top part here where your head is going to glue down onto as well, just for that little bit of extra gluing.
That's a great idea, Mrs. Cherokee. Mrs. Bone will do that right now as well.
Because these paper plates can be a little bit slippery.
Okay, so once we've put that glue on, you can see what we've done here. We're going to hold really nice and firm to make sure that glue sets and it sticks. So let's count to 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I can let go and my head is attached. So we now have a Coco head ready to keep going. Now we've got to do our tail. Okay, so I now have my other piece of card here, and we're going to be gluing that down on the bottom of our body. Mrs. Bone will show you here. And it's going to be gluing on to the bottom of our body just like this.
So Mrs. Bone, do we need to make sure that the flat part is at the top and the curved part is at the bottom?
We certainly do. Okay, so remember how I said it looks like an upside down ice block? That's the way it needs to get attached to the body. Okay, the big curve is at the bottom.
Excellent.
Okay, so Mrs. Bone's going to put some more glue on the top of my tail. And I'm also going to put a little bit of glue just on the body where I'm going to be gluing it onto. Okay, and don't forget to look at those pictures in the instruction sheet, because that will help you as well. Okay, so I've glued it on like this. Let's hold it on for 5 seconds again to make sure it sticks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Awesome job. Now let's let go. And there you go. You can see now we've got our body, we have our head, and our tail of Coco the Cockatoo. I think we're up to the fun part now, Mrs. Cherokee.
I was just about to say, now comes the fun part.
Okay, so I'm going to pass Coco over to Mrs. Cherokee now for the next step.
All right, so boys and girls, the next step you need is the fun part where we get the feathers. So you should have about 10 feathers in your envelope with all of where your head and your tail and your other yellow feathers and beak were. So what you're going to do, now this one, you can be a little bit crazy with your glue, because what we're going to do is we're going to put feathers on the tail. I'm going to do the tail first, and then we're going to put feathers on the wings. So what I'm going to do is we're going to cover the tail completely. See that tail? We're going to cover it completely with glue. Okay, so I'm going to do that first.
And Mrs. Cherokee, are we going to be putting yellow feathers on the body of the cockatoo?
Oh, good question. Does a cockatoo have yellow feathers on its body part?
Have a look at the one that we made before. Where are those yellow feathers? Oh, they're not on the body, are they?
No. If you're saying they're up here on the head, you are 100% right. We are only putting white feathers at the moment. We're only using our white feathers. So you can go through your feathers and pick the longest ones that you have. I'm going to pick this one here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick my first. We're going to put 3 feathers. How many? 3. 3 feathers along along our tail. So there's number 1. And we just press it down very softly. There's number 1. Oh, there's another lovely long one. There's feather number 2. Glue that down, and it doesn't take much to glue them. And I need 1 more. Oh, this one looks beautiful. 1 more for number 3. And what I've done is they've got these little quills at the top. Don't know if you can see the little pointy bits. We're going to put those up the top because they can get covered over when we do the wing. So we're not going to put any on the body part here. Can you see? We're not going to put any on here. We're going to put it over here on the wing. So there's our tail. How fun and beautiful does that look?
Starting to look like a bird now, Mrs. Cherokee.
It is. And one thing that you could do if you wanted to is if you don't want to see the black on your tail, flip it over because it's white on the back.
That's right.
So again, with your glue. Now, if you're using a glue stick, use lots of it. If you're just using wood glue or craft glue, you can use a paintbrush and put that on. And I'm putting it on fairly thick, boys and girls, because I want these feathers to stick down. I don't want them after I've finished, after half an hour, to be falling off. So I'm going to put my feathers on with a lot of glue. So then what you're going to do is you're just going to pick the rest of your feathers. And what I've done is I just sort of make them so that they cover over. You can't really tell because it's white on white. But I'm just going to quickly place them all down. Now you can take a bit more time and care.
And you can pause this video whenever you need to, boys and girls, while you're making your Coco the Cockatoo, because Mrs. Cherokee and Mrs. Bone might be going a little bit too quick. And if that's the case, you can just press pause and then press play when you're ready for the next step.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
so,
that looks amazing, Mrs. Cherokee.
All my beautiful white feathers are now on the Coco Cockatoo's wing. Now, if you can see, there are a few bits of the feather that are sticking up. Now, this might be a job for mums or dads or nans or pops or whoever's helping you make this beautiful cockatoo. Or if you're clever enough and feel confident enough with your scissors, you could get your scissors. This is what I did so that I don't get pricked with these because they can be a little bit sharp. I just came along and went snip, whoops, snip, snip. Oh, that one didn't come off. Snip, snip.
Great job.
And they are all off now. And look, there is our fun part, our beautiful feathered Coco. And I'm going to pass it over because now we're going to do the even more exciting part where it really makes it look beautiful.
So you've used your beautiful white feathers on the body of the cockatoo and the wing and the tail. Now we're going to use these beautiful yellow feathers that we have. And we're going to be putting these yellow feathers on the head of the cockatoo. And that's called the crest of the cockatoo. Okay, the yellow part that you see on a cockatoo's head is called its crest. So that's what we're going to be doing now. And what you're going to be doing, you can use glue or you could also use sticky tape if you would like to, boys and girls. And what you're going to do is we're going to be, if I flip it over so you can see the back of my cockatoo, we're actually going to be gluing them onto the back. So you won't be able to see this part when we turn it over. Okay, just like this. And we're going to be sticking 3 yellow feathers to make our beautiful cockatoo crest. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back of the cockatoo head here. I'll put some glue on the back.
Maybe make it a little bit thick as like you did for the white feathers, just so that they glue down.
Okay, so I know you probably can't see that, but I've put glue all on the top there of the head. And now I'm going to stick one of my yellow feathers on. Now, as I said, that was on the back of the head that we're sticking them on. Okay, so I've stuck one on. Now I'm going to stick my next one.
Starting to look beautiful.
And then one more. So we've done 3 beautiful yellow feathers onto our cockatoo. And now I've held it down nice and tight to make sure that they've stuck on to the head. But I'm also going to get a little piece of sticky tape to put it over the feathers at the back there, just to hold it, as I don't want them to go flying off as we're still making our Coco the cockatoo. Okay.
Good job, everybody.
Here's our beautiful cockatoo crest with our yellow feathers.
Oh.
Okay, next step, Mrs. Cherokee.
Right, so we're going to put our beautiful Coco that we've made so far down. And now you're going to get your yellow piece of paper. Now it looks like what shape is it, boys and girls? It's a rectangle. Well done. So you're going to get your rectangle, and what we're going to do is we're going to pick a side. Doesn't matter which side, up the top or down the bottom. We want it to be the shorter side. So I'm going to pick